So hey everybody, welcome back to Bow and Arrow Garage. So today is going to be a fun day. Last week I wasn't able to make a video. I was actually helping a friend of mine with her vehicle, and I just decided not to record it. But the good news is we got it going and she's able to drive it again. So anyways, I did come home afterwards and I made a little bit of footage. I worked on the C3 Corvette a little bit. And I've been really anxious to get back on it because I finished up the engine and it's ready to start test fitting in the car. I've got to do a couple of things, fitting the new bell housing to it and everything. But yesterday I decided to drive my C6 Corvette to work, and when I went to leave work it wouldn't start. I just replaced the battery a couple of months ago. The battery's perfectly fine. So it's either the starter or the wire to the starter. I have a feeling it's the wire to the starter, so I'm gonna have to start off the video figuring that out. I'll show you what the vehicle is doing, and hopefully this fixes it. And I hope it's pretty quick because, like I said, I'm really anxious to get back on the C3. I want to get this engine test fitted in the car today if at all possible. But I'm also going to be doing some cleaning on my yard. It's a mess. It's fall. All the leaves are falling off the trees. I have a pecan tree right here by my garage, and man, it just drops leaves everywhere. Then I have a bunch of other oak trees and stuff, and so I'm not really concerned about the front yard. I've been trying to work on the backyard, and I've got to get this cleaned up. So I'm going to be kind of jumping around, doing a little bit here and a little bit there. But anyways, I'm like I said, I'm anxious to get on the car. I'm going to jump into the C6 Corvette, and then once we get that wrapped up, I'm going to jump on this car. I'm going to get the bell housing out, get it fitted to the engine, and then we'll go from there. So thanks for joining in, and we hope you stick around to the end. Anyways, I'll show you what it does. I'm going to hit the start button, and I just get this silent, just little hum. And then the gauges sweep, and then just nothing. So I just wanted to show you the battery check's good. You know, it's probably drained a little bit just from not getting a good connection, but it's not a battery issue. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the cables off, and then I'll show you testing the wire from the alternator over to the battery, and then from the battery ground to the chassis ground. So for those of you that are not familiar with checking continuity, I'm just going to be checking to make sure, and I don't suspect that there's anything wrong with the alternator, but I'm just going to check all the wiring. And so I have the setting on, it's on continuity, but it's going to ring when I touch the prongs. So if I touch these prongs together, you can hear the beep. And so I'm just going to test the positive lug on the alternator to the positive battery cable and just make sure that I've got good continuity. So okay, so I'm good there. So like I said, I didn't expect any issues, but I was just testing from this lug on the back of the alternator. To the positive battery cable. Then you can check from this lug over to the battery cable, just to make sure that you get a good connection there. And what you can actually do is not touch it on the cable, but touch it on this lug over here. And that way you know that it's getting a good connection between the cable and that lug. And so that is good. And so then I'll try to get a good shot. I'm going to check my negative cable from the cable down. And I don't know if you can see, but if you trace this cable down at the bottom there, it connects to the frame rail. And so I'm just going to check on the frame rail to the cable and make sure that we have good continuity there. I was just trying to test the circuit and make sure everything up top is good. The problem is that the car sits so low, I really can't get down to the starter wires and check it. So I'm gonna have to get the car up in the air, and then I'll test the positive wire going to the starter. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off and clean it. Pretty sure that's what it is. So anyways, we'll get this car up in jacks, and I'll show you the results when I get it out. Well, I certainly don't know if I'm gonna get a good video of this, but yeah, the lug is up in there. It looks pretty dirty, so I really think that's what it is. So I'm gonna get that cable end off. We'll get it off and get it cleaned up and get it back on. Just word of caution, make sure you have your battery disconnected when you go to do this. Okay guys, I got the battery cables cleaned up. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. The starter lug on the solenoid was a little bit loose also, but I really don't think that's the issue. So I'm gonna see if it'll start up. Here we go. And there she goes. So that's what it was. It was dirty battery cables, or dirty starter cables, I should say. And so what a mess, all that. It's just very difficult to get to, so, but at the end of the day, it wasn't all that bad. So we got it done. We're gonna get everything cleaned up, and we're gonna get on to the C3 Corvette. These bolts for the motor mounts have some torque on them. I'm hoping they don't break. Oh man. Wow. Can't believe those bolts have that much torque on them. Okay, so the bolts are a lot bigger than I thought they were. So that makes more sense now, because I thought those things were going to snap off in the block. So yeah, we're good. All right, guys. I got these ICT billet LS engine swap brackets. It's part number 551628. I'm going to go ahead and get them installed. And I'm going to go ahead and put these at the forwardmost point. That's what I was instructed to do as far as for the transmission that I got. So like I said, I'll be showing you that here soon. So there's a view of the adapter plates installed. You have 3 different mounting positions depending on where you want your, actually 4 different mounting positions depending on where you want your engine to sit. So like I said, with the transmission I got, they recommend that you mount it as far forward as possible. So I'll be going with the forward set of holes. Okay folks, so basically what has happened is I had to modify this new engine mount. The old ones were the same thing. I just had to shave down this little area right here so that it would fit in this pocket. The other thing I did is I cut down this bolt. That way this bolt hole right here that is partially covered up by this former on the block, It can basically screw in all the way through the mount and the plate, but not have any protrusion. I wanted it to be flush, but not have any protrusion at all. So, and now I end up putting that bolt in with some Loctite. Okay, I finally got this all modified. Go ahead and torque this thing in place. I'm just going to torque it. Like I said, I might have to pull it back off, but all right. Hey folks, I guess I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I'm a little disappointed in the progress I made on the LS1, but I've got to remember that I had the issue with my C6 Corvette. Really, honestly, it worked out the best as it could. It didn't really cost me any money. It just cost me some time crawling under that thing and getting to that battery cable and getting it cleaned up. Anyway, so it is what it is. But at this point, this engine is ready to go in the car. I've got a lot of work that I've got to do on the car still. I've got some wires that I want to clean up. I've got to just get in and just do some general cleaning, clean up the engine bay and get it looking halfway presentable. But as far as the engine is concerned, it's ready to go in the car. I've still got to get the bell housing indexed properly, and it's super critical that I get it and get it done correctly, because of the fact that if you don't, it voids your warranty on the transmission. And I bought a Tremec TKX 5-speed for this car, so I'm really excited about that, but I've got to make sure that I get this bell housing index correctly. And so that's the next thing I'm going to be doing is, I was going to try to get it done today. That was my goal, but unfortunately the C6 set me back several hours. Honestly, I was stuck about 5 hours last night. I was trying to get it going, and I finally had to get it towed home. And then this morning I spent about 3 or 4 hours just getting it up in the air, getting those battery cables off. There wasn't really enough slack to get them out, so it was kind of frustrating trying to get in there and get them clean. But thankfully that's all it was. It was that positive terminal on the starter. Got it cleaned up. The car's starting good. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we hope we see you in the future. Have a great night.